Record. All right. Good afternoon, KW South Bay. How's everyone doing today? We got a lot of good stuff. Lots of good stuff today, and a guest speaker that I'm so anxious to introduce to you. Phenomenal agent on the back east. She'll be on Zoom, giving her, inspirational to the audience. We got a chance to see her at Mega Camp. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our team meeting. So everyone on Zoom, hello. Our mission is to provide agents with a place where they will be empowered, trained, motivated to experience growth, wealth, and a legacy that allows them to live their best life possible. Our belief, when the values of your own company align with your own beliefs, you found your professional home. And our vision is to achieve amazing professionals and personal development so that KW South Bay remains the agency of choice. Yes, give yourself a round of applause. Okay. All right. The big heavy lifting from the team meeting. Next slide. Most of you obviously know that Jennifer Tara's birthday is today, so let's wish her a wonderful happy birthday. On the count of three, you guys ready? 1, 2, and 3. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Obviously, she's 4 years old today. So. And she's such an inspiration, hard worker, devoted, dedicated with many. So we're blessed to have her as part of our team. So thank you, Jennifer, for all you do for us. All right, next slide, please. Happy birthday. All right, is Andrea on the call?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So thank you. There she is. Say hello, everyone.
Hello from the 716.
Yeah. Well, we're so blessed and honored to have you. So before we get started, Andrea, I just want to give you a quick little bio, which is pretty detailed. But she is such an amazing and inspiration that we're so grateful to have you on the call. So thank you again. So let me make sure I got my glasses on. So Andrea is originally from Buffalo, New York. Upon graduating from Hutch Tech High School, she enlisted in the United States Army. Whoa. She completed her basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and her advanced individual training at the AIT at Fort Sam Houston, Texas 491B medical specialist. After training, she traveled on orders to serve with the 2nd Battalion Division C Company 302 Forward Support Battalion. Camp Casey, South Korea, which was 11 miles from DMC. Upon completion of her assignment to South Korea, she traveled on orders to Fort Knox, Kentucky, to serve with the 60 caliber unit as a medical specialist. Once her enlistment was completed as an active duties, she then served in the Kentucky National Guard and the New York National Guard. Andrea is currently a veteran officer with the Buffalo Police Department for 10 years and also a licensed real estate salesperson. She began her career assigned to D District, serving the North Buffalo, Riverside, and parts of Upper West Side. Currently, she is assigned to C District, which serves the east side of Buffalo, including the Broadway and Fillmore area, and also the Lovejoy section of the city. Her current assignment is Community Police Officer for Buffalo Municipal Housing Authority in C District. While working in C District, Andrea has hosted numerous events from the community, such as Thank You, Our Veterans, events which focus on U.S. military veterans' needs and links them to services they otherwise wouldn't have known about. C District Community Day events, which serves as a community fun day where we give bikes and prizes as well as information. Stables events, which serves as a community fun day where we give away bikes and other prizes, as well as informational and set up for different needs. Andrea has also managed to put together job fairs to help people secure employment, home ownership, workshops to educate people on the process of buying and selling homes, and a community fund giveaway where she puts together over 500 bags of groceries and boxes of produce to give away free to the community to help anyone who is struggling to keep food on the table. Andrea is also a realtor with KWSB. She has always had a passion for real estate, yet it was because of her day-to-day interactions with the community as a police officer that she saw an opportunity to serve them in yet another way. Andrea's vision is to give back to her community in many different ways, and one of the most important is her education on many people, educating as many people as she can about the process of buying, selling, and investing in real estate. She empowers others around her, knows the home ownership, and is passionate and loves what she do. So without further ado, Miss Andrea Anderson.
How are you guys?
We're well, thank you.
Now,
So
where is South Bay located?
we're located in the state of California, the LA County, Los Angeles County, the south part of Los Angeles, Long Beach, Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach, city of Torrance.
By the beaches, basically.
Beaches. So the beach area.
Okay, cool. I'm like, what is South Bay? Okay, now I know. Well, I want to thank you.
Many
I wanna-
people to San Francisco, that South Bay of San Francisco, the Bay Area. So no, we're not northern part of California, we're in the south part, Southern California.
Okay, it's still hot there, right?
It's a little hot today, yes.
In Buffalo, it's 70 degrees. But I want to thank you guys for having me. I want to thank whoever saw me on stage at Mega Camp and was inspired by my story. So a little bit about me, and stop me anytime if you have any questions. A little bit about me, like the bio said, I went in the military when I was 18 years old, and I went in the military because when I graduated high school, my cousin and I, we both graduated. I tried one semester of college, and I just kept partying at the frat parties and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not paying the bills. This is not what my parents sent me to school for. And, you know, it's so crazy because all the while that Army recruiter just kept hounding me. Like, you know how they do take you out to eat, like just gas you up. And one day, you know, like I said, that lead follow-up is gold, because he kept following up with me. Next thing you know, I was like at Red Lobster to like raising my hand. I swear to protect my country, like all because he kept hounding me. And so at 18, I went into the Army, and I was a medical specialist. I was in Korea and stuff. And once I finished in the Army, I had moved back home to Buffalo, and I had 2 kids. And you know, I got a divorce. And I'm like, okay, I got my 2 babies, got a divorce. Like, what am I gonna do? And so I was talking to my cousin. She said, girl, you better go get your food stamps. Go get your food stamps. So I went ahead, got my food stamps. And my other cousin told me, he said, you could be taking civil service exams for free. So I said, okay. So I will sign up, jump on like the website, like see in New York State who was hiring, see who was hiring locally and within local government, city government. Took all these civil service exams, and Buffalo Police was who called me. And so when Buffalo Police called me, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm gonna be a cop. Like, I was thinking about like I'm not sure if you guys are old enough, but that movie Police Academy and the little short black cop Hooks, and she was like, excuse me, excuse me. So I was like, that's gonna be me, that's gonna be me. So, but I ended up getting into the academy and becoming a police officer. And when I got accepted to the academy, I did not have a car to get back and forth to the academy. So I had to catch 2 buses to get to the academy. So I had to be there by 7. So I had to be at the bus stop by 5. And I'm wheeling like my little luggage because I had to have like my PT gear in there, then my books for the academy at the bus stop every morning, waiting to get to the academy. And then they made me platoon leader at the academy. And I was like, oh my God, because they just selected me. And I did my research and found out that I was the first Black female platoon leader ever in a police academy there. And so I was really focused about making it there on time because you lead by example. I couldn't be showing up late and expecting people in my platoon to be being there on time. So I just made sure I was there on time, and it really touched me to be the first Black female. So after that, when income tax time came and I was still in the academy, I what did I say? I went and got me a car. I dropped it like it was hot. Soon as I got that check, I went to a dealership, put like 5,000 down, and I pulled off with my blue Toyota Camry, and I still have that car in my driveway. And once I graduated the police academy and got on the department, we would respond to a lot of landlord tenant calls. And sometimes those calls can either go left or right or just all the way left. Sometimes the tenant is right, sometimes the landlord is right, sometimes they both wrong. But, it was one of those things where I would see people and find out they're paying like $1,500, $2,000 for a shack with like roaches and rats in it. And I'm like, do you know you could own a house? And next thing you know, they were like, no one's ever took the time to explain to me how to go about owning a house. So that's when I just started saying, you know what? I'm gonna put together some homeowner workshops at the police station because we have a community room that we was doing nothing with. So we had the space, and I would call loan officers, real estate attorneys, and we would set up right there in the police station and let the community know, like, hey, if you want to learn how to buy a house, come on into the police station. So when they would come into the police station, I would get the good turnout, but a lot of the objections would be, well, I'm not working right now. So I would say, okay, you're not working right now. What can I do? So I went and got a contact at the Department of Labor, and I said, can we have a job fair, but can we have it at the police station? And every time I would ask somebody, can we do it at the police station, their jaw would drop and say something like, well, we never did that before. I didn't ask you what you did before. I'm asking him we do it now. And so they would be like, well, let's try it. Like, yeah, let's try it. So they would get the employers. I would have refreshments at my job fairs. And next thing you know, I would get the community to turn up and show up. And after that, it just went on from when the pandemic started and people were not going to work like they was before and had trouble putting food on the table. That's when we packed up all the groceries because we wanted to still do our part and just make sure we was doing everything we could to make sure the community was still eating and stuff. But it was through all of that, that was when I was really going real heavy with talking to everybody about home ownership. And then when they created the social equity task force and diversity, equity, inclusion. So I'm the regional ambassador here in New York State for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it was like the perfect opportunity to bridge that gap with real estate in my community. And I just kind of dove in and just went for it. But in my process, I didn't have a support system at all. You know, I didn't have, like, I was doing everything. I was raising my kids on my own. I was making sure they did their homework, got to school. Like my mom, she didn't help me at all. My father was on drugs. My kids' fathers, they just weren't in the picture. And my thing was, I could either be bitter about it and just hate the world, or I could turn it into a positive and be for other people that person that I didn't have. So that's how I just started doing things for other people. So when I would, like, I could go to, like, I went to work today. I didn't want to do this team meeting in uniform, and I wanted to just wear something different. But every time I go to work, I do have someone there saying, Officer Anderson, I was told I need to talk to you, that you can help me with my situation. It could be any situation, but I always try to give people at least 5 minutes of my time, because if it's longer than 5 minutes, we'll just make an appointment. But I always want people to feel like they at least worth 5 minutes of my time, because like I said, I know what it's like when you're trying to get an opportunity to get in front of someone, to get an opportunity just to have a chance at something, and you're not one of the few who's selected. So I just wanted to make sure I'm that person that I didn't have for other people. And that's how I ended up doing, like, the baby shower. I ran across a mom. She grew up in the foster care system. She was pregnant with twins and literally had nothing. And my market center came together for me and got, like, we got the crib, we got diapers, we got a lot of baby stuff to help get started. And next thing you know, I said, let me put together a baby shower for the community. And from there, it was just this beautiful event, where we gave away diapers. Because I mean, I got two kids. My kids is 22 and 18. So it's safe to say my factory is shut down. I am not about to pay $40, $50 for another box of diapers or formula, but I do have a community out there that needs my help. So I don't mind grinding and hitting the pound to the pavement to help them. So that's what I just wanted to be, that person that I needed for other people. I know what it's like to catch the bus. I know what it's like to be on food stamps. I know what it's like to have your house in foreclosure and getting it out. And I just wanted, so I think that's how my community loved me, because I relate to them. I don't act like I'm better than them. I let them know I've been where they've been, and I just didn't stop. I just kept going. If I wanted better, I needed to show up better and do better for myself and those around me. And here I am today at Keller Williams and still giving back to the community. Even when I've been being a police officer, I'll never stop giving back to the community, because one thing I know about tables, they turn. And I could be here today and on the receiving end tomorrow, and I'm going to be wishing someone blessed me the same way I blessed them. So I just always try to stay humble and stuff. But I mean, do you guys have any questions?
I do have a question for you.
You can ask me anything you want, Simon.
I appreciate you. So I'm curious to know how the conversation was with either your captain or your watch commander about utilizing the police station to utilize for real estate purposes.
Oh, okay. So the community I serve, so when you were reading my bio, all of those areas are underserved communities. So with the underserved communities, and we have these community rooms, anything that was something good for the community, my chief was for it. But I'm a spoiled brat. So I would go to him and I would just say, Chief, I need to have this for the community because the community could benefit from it. And he would just be like, okay. Like, he would never give me any issue. And when I'm planning something, I try to think of what could go wrong. So like, we have a large population of Hispanics, of Black people, like a lot of different nationalities. So I would make sure that there was a translator for like whatever like nationality or whoever we serve primarily in my area, because I was very passionate about getting through to people about home ownership. And even though I may speak English, I didn't care. I was going to get it to you in whatever language you speak, but you need to understand that home ownership is for you and everyone else. So my chief was just basically on the same page with me. He was like, okay, you do whatever you want, do whatever you want. And he would help me too. He would like going on refreshments and stuff. But anytime I would want to do something, I would just make sure I talk to him first, because I'm a firm believer. If I'm doing something, I want you to hear it from me. I don't feel like you see me every day and you hear something that I'm doing from a third party. And here it is, you see me every day. So whatever it is I was planning or doing, I would make sure I would go to my chief and just say, hey, chief, this is what I'm thinking. Do you got any feedback or suggestions? And he would say, no, I like the idea. Just go ahead and do you. So, but that's how the conversation went with my chief. And I always call like my police headquarters, I call it the White House. I always tell them like, you deal with the White House, you deal with the commissioner and the deputy commissioner. I will put this event together, because usually when you're doing something in a police station or here, when it's city owned, not everybody want to know, the mayor, everybody want to know, because no one ever heard of having events like this at a police station. They just assume, oh, you're trying to get police officers to buy a house? No, I'm trying to get my community to buy a house. So that's where I was coming from with it.
Amazing. So how do you juggle being a police officer, mother, and do real estate?
Drink lots of Pepsi. I'm just playing. You know what? I just take it day by day, because my kids are now older. So when they were younger, it was a lot of stuff I couldn't do. Like when I came on with KW with productivity coaching, I couldn't do any of the tasks that they would assign, like add contacts to your database, make sure you lead generating. When you're dealing with kids and a school system and taking them back and forth to the doctor and just everything with being a parent on your own, sometimes doing simple tasks like that just was like exhausting. And so I said, that's okay. I would always tell myself my time would come, my time would come. So anytime my kids were in school or in dance or something, I would take that as time. Like, you know how like a lot of us would say in the morning from 9:30 to 11, I'm lead generating. Well, I had to get creative with my lead generating. I couldn't just block out this certain time, because something was always popping up when I would focus on myself and say, okay, I'm doing this. Next thing you know, I'm getting a call from school, or your child is sick, come get her, or you're getting calls over here and you're like, what the, I can't even lead generate. So I had to get creative with it. So when I would be at work policing, I would just start running my mouth. Girl, you ever thought about buying a house? You ever thought about buying a house? Because I wasn't able to be on my phone, but I was having conversations in the community. And next thing you know, people would want to keep in touch, and I would just stay in contact with them. And when they was ready to buy a house, I was right there. And they trusted me. Part of the reason they did trust me was because I was a police officer. So it is tough. And as bad, I wanted to retire in, was it 6 months? But now that I have a new boss and a new chief, they really are begging me to stay on. But I really want to just do real estate full time. And my leadership here at KW is counting the days, like, come to us full time. But I'm so good with the community that I may have to just put it off just a little bit longer, because I'm very passionate about it's enough out here where everyone can eat and do well. We all can be homeowners. We all can succeed in life. It doesn't have to be one looking down on the others. We could do it together. So I'm passionate about that. But it is tough. I may make it look easy. It's tough juggling a full-time job and a real estate career and then looking at 2 kids like, but I just figure it out day by day. I can't even write it down, but I figure it out.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Andrea? You'd like to share?
I have a question.
Yeah, please, find it.
Why you do this? I mean, why you do this? What is the reason that you want to help people? What is the reason?
Because I want to be the person that I needed for other people. Like I said, I know what it's like to catch the bus. I know what it's like to go to your caseworker at the food stamp office and they look down on you. It's so funny because we just had this conversation, my team leader and I. The story of my life sometimes is people will see me in a room and I never announce who I am or anything, and I just start small conversations. And it's always one person who says, "Oh, she's a police officer." Next thing you know, I got all these brand new wannabe friends. And I'm like, but you was just treating me like I was nothing 5 minutes ago. So it's so funny, but I do it because sometimes people don't get treated the way I do, and I always try to tell people I still have kids. I have daughters that's my skin complexion. And are you going to try and get to know them? So sometimes people aren't heard in my community unless there's a police officer involved. So sometimes I try to use my platform to be that voice for others. And so I continue to do it every day, even though I'm exhausted, but really just want to be that person that I needed for other people. And hopefully that energy that I put out is the same energy that come back when I need somebody, because we all gonna need somebody.
Anyone else? Beautiful. Well, Andrea.
I have a question, Simon.
Oh, yes, please.
Is there one success story you can tell, or someone going from rags to riches, not so much riches, but at least getting the American dream of home ownership? There's someone you can, one success story you can kind of share how they accomplished, buying a home from maybe renting.
Okay, so I just had a client refer to me not too long ago, and he got out of prison. And so right away, I don't like people to get like shocked, like if they see me in uniform, because sometimes if like I'm at work and my clients want to see a house and it's in the city, I'll pull up in uniform and show them. We pretty got a laid back department and stuff, as long as nothing is going crazy. And so he had got out of prison. He had a credit score like 780 or something. He like did everything he was supposed to do. And I said, okay. I said, I just want to let you know in case you ever want to see some houses and I might be at work. I'm a police officer. Is that okay? And he was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. He said, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. So I got him pre-approved, and I explained to him the process here in New York State. I explained to him about some of the first-time home buyer programs. And sometimes people will, when you're explaining them the process, or if they don't know, they think it's going to be this long, daunting, exhausting process. And it's like, no, we about to have fun. You crazy? You about to be a homeowner. So I had to keep making it exciting and fun for him and stuff. And he was like, okay. He said, well, what's next? I said, well, now that you pre-approved, we got to look for houses and stuff. And he's like, houses? And so we would go look at houses, and he wasn't really picky either. He just wanted to be a homeowner. And it was so funny because he would say, well, I think this would be okay. Because I remember not too long ago when I got in trouble, I'm not allowed to carry weapons. And I kept looking at him like, I'm still a cop. Watch what you tell me, stuff like, he was like, I'm like, okay, but you're going to be a homeowner. You're going to be a homeowner. And so finally, when he finally got an offer accepted, because it's still a seller's market up here. So he finally got the offer accepted, and I call him, I'm like, oh my God, you got your offer accepted. He's like, yeah. What does that mean? Right. And so it was so funny because he goes, okay, well, what's next? I'm like, okay, what's next is we got the home inspection and then your attorney approval. And he's like, well, who's my attorney? I'm like, you poor baby, I got you. Auntie got you. Come to Auntie. And so I'm guiding him and I'm telling him, you may not know these people, but this is your dream team. We're going to get you to the closing table. And so long story short, when he gets to the closing table and he closes and gets his keys and he's so excited, he goes, Miss Anderson, I did it. I'm a homeowner. I did it. And I said, yes, you did do it. And so I said, you went from prison to now the keys to your own house. And so he sends me a picture like last month. He got this garden full of flowers, beautiful. And he said, I'm just really loving being a homeowner right now. So he would be my success story where telling me, a cop, that I just got out of prison and I'm trying to and stuff. But I do have another young lady that I'm currently working with that, yeah, she's gonna definitely be a success story and stuff. But I like to talk about them once I get them to the closing table.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one more question. Rosie, go ahead.
Did you introduce
Yeah.
yourself as a police officer to the listing agent? So you can get the offer accepted?
Can she repeat that?
Did you introduce yourself as a police officer to the listing agent so the offer can be accepted?
Oh.
You know what? It'd be funny because people, the minute they find out I'm a police officer, then it's, you know what? I got pulled over last night. And I'll be sitting there like, what that got to do with me? Hey, but then I'm like, So sometimes people just be like, oh, you that cop. I would love to do a deal with you. I'm like, so what you saying? You gonna accept my offer? Like, but you never know with people because it, like I said, I'll walk in the room and the minute they find out I'm a cop, then they want me to look at the tickets. They want to know what happened on a certain call. They want to know what they should do. And I'm like, I'm trying to get this listed. I ain't thinking about your ticket or why such and such got arrested. I'm trying to get this listed. But yeah, it's pretty unique the way I have to navigate and parallel the two. It really is.
Awesome. Let's give Andrew a round of applause.
And can you just, so my QR code that you guys see near my picture, if you can, I don't care if it's $5, but if you could just make a donation, that QR code is for my community baby shower, and it is the link to it on GoFundMe. So I'm hosting a community baby shower for the community at the police station. And like I said, I'm a grinder. I don't care if it's $5. That means I could buy a few pacifiers from Dollar Tree or something, but that's the way I give back. And please, if you can just help me with any donation, it is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's give them once again. Thank you. And thank you for, serving our country. Thank you for, serving our communities. And thank you for being you.
That's what Mark King said. Do not change you. So I will be at family reunion in Vegas. If any of you guys happen to go and you see me and just tell me, hey, I'm from South Bay, I'll know right away. We family, boo.
Again, thank you for taking time on your busy schedule. Be safe out there, and you're always, and I repeat this, always welcome here at the KW South Bay office. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Simon, and thank you everyone for having me.
Awesome. Is she awesome?
Yeah. Inspirational.
Very inspirational. All right, so next up, we got Fernando, and let's thank Fernando for providing us with an amazing.
Thank you.
We also have a guest speaker, I believe it's Doug. Is Doug on the call?
She's left you. All right, guys. I've told you guys before in previous meetings that, well, first of all, next year will be my 30th year in the business. Can't believe that.
Instead of 10 years old?
Yeah, started when I was 7, so. But guys, I'll tell you one right now, in 30 years, and you guys will go raise your hands afterwards. I don't know how many of you guys spent this 10 years, 20 years, 30 years plus, you know, if we don't have to get into that. But I'll take a show of hands later. This is probably arguably the best or top two ideas, concepts program I have ever seen in 30 years. Okay, so Doug is our national trainer. He's also in charge of the program. He's going to give you the clip notes, the quick story behind her. I guess he will show you guys that. He also does a weekly training where realtors from all over the nation jump on too. It's good to be a Zoom, pretty easy. I'm sure he'll promote that for you. But we're going to show you too a little video of people that have used this and it has become very impactful in their lives. Natalie, I don't want to cue that up, and then Doug, you're on after that, so I'll step away from there, taking questions later.
My boss and someone I consider a friend secretly sent it out to a bunch of our mutual friends and acquaintances, and all of a sudden I start getting all of these emails of people contributing, and I was just like, I probably cried like 5 times that day. Like, I was just in shock.
It was a really simple, easy process. So when we first started our campaign, I was expecting my parents to give, but I wasn't expecting some of my friends and other family members to pitch in as well. So that was a great surprise. My advice would be just go for it. Even if you don't know if people are going to give money, you might as well try.
Home Funded was absolutely amazing.
I can say I couldn't stand here today without the help of Home Funded. We would be somewhere else.
The feeling of knowing that we could start raising the funds and that we were getting closer to this finally being our home officially was absolutely amazing. From the bottom of our hearts, we're really grateful for those who were able to donate to the campaign.
The money started coming in, and little by little it started getting there to where we were looking at each other like we have our down payment, we have all the money that we needed to get, and it's just awesome because every little bit helps. Trust me, I know that for a fact.
When we initially launched the campaign, we weren't expecting much. After I sent it to my dad, he suggested, hey, you know, your wedding's coming up. Why don't you use this as your wedding gift? It is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to first-time home buyers, especially us. We had no idea about it coming into it. And don't be afraid to send it out to coworkers, to family, to friends, because you'll never know people that want to contribute and make your life and your new home something special for you.
Okay, is Doug, can you hear us? Doug?
Doug. He's on. He's there. The link that you guys gave me.
Yeah, I thought I saw him earlier. Well, can you share a little bit of
Yeah, he's there.
Yes.
He's on, yeah.
Okay.
When I first heard about Home Funded,
Oh, there. Oh,
Doug, are you there?
Says there.
How come you don't hear him? Doug, can you hear us? Are you running it or is Natalie? Natalie. Hey Nat, do you see Doug on the call? Go to participants.
I do not see Doug on the call unless he is Roboto. There's somebody named Roboto.
Oh, there's actually somebody in front of us.
Give it a few minutes.
Give it a few. He's there. I know he's there. He's texting.
Okay.
Just on the wrong one. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, I gave him a link that they provided me. So
Is he on the waiting or is he on the Zoom?
I would imagine it's the thing.
Well,
He's relogging back in.
Okay, so he's okay. So he's all right, so I'll be kind of like that was something good. So we'll start with
Doug is joining right now. Doug is on.
All right, Jim, give me something good today.
Something good today?
Yeah. While we wait for Doug.
I got
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh,
There we go. I think I somehow got logged out. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Nat, can you help with the camera? I don't see Doug. There he is. How do we spotlight him?
Hey
There we
guys,
go.
thank you for allowing me to join you.
Yes. Welcome, and thank you again, Doug. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get something on the screen here that's other than me. Because it'd be a lot more fun to look at something else. Let's see. Share screen. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
With any luck? All right. I'll try to go as quickly as possible, and I know that you guys have been in there for a while, so I'll zoom as quickly as I can here. I'm Doug Nesbitt. I head up affordable finance and fair lending for CMG, and been with the company for a very long time. And Home Funded is one of our kind of our crown jewels, you know, of CMG. It's an exclusive program that we're the only ones that offer. And we're excited to talk to you about it because it's really setting records right now. This program is a red hot program that is really helping people grow their business and really change lives for buyers. So we're excited to be able to talk to you about it. You guys know who we are, so I'm going to skip this slide. It's all about CMG. Really wanted to talk about just kind of the two main things that Home Funded can do for you. And one of them is obviously it helps solve the problem that first-time buyers have, and that is the down payment. You know, there's so many mortgage-ready customers out there today, even with rates being very, very high. The challenge is coming up with enough money for a down payment, and especially in California, it's a big challenge. The other thing that Home Funded does is really for you, and it's a game changer for you because it helps you approach buyers who are not yet ready to buy and actually make them your customers earlier than you would otherwise be able to make them your customer. And that's a big part of what enables Home Funded to be so powerful in transforming your business. You know, today, home buyers, as we've been saying, are dealing with big issues, high home prices, rising rents. And in this real estate cycle, we're seeing student debt be a big issue that we haven't seen before. And that's why when you talk to renters, most of them tell you that the down payment is the bigger hurdle versus the mortgage payment. And when you take a look at who's out there buying homes today, you know, millennials, most of them want to buy a home. The average age of a millennial is, guess what? 32, 33 years old. The average age of a first-time buyer is, guess what? 32, 33 years old. So that's the generational group that's really in the market these days. And when you take a look at folks who are saying that they want to buy a home, that they're planning on buying a home in the next, 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months, most of those folks are first-time buyers. But when you look at who gets to buy homes today, that number drops down pretty dramatically to 26% of current buyers being first-time buyers. So there's a lot of folks who want to buy a home versus the folks who can actually buy a home. And so it's very important to really see the difference between a prospective buyer and a current buyer. You know, prospective buyers are all the folks who are out there waiting in the wings, on the sidelines, if you were, saving money, fixing their credit, getting their job, established, feeling like they're ready, but they're not in the market yet. And if you can make those people your customers sooner, you're going to do more business down the line. Down payment gifting is really the #1 way that a first-time buyer works on getting a down payment together a whole lot faster. And when you take a look at who's doing down payment gifting, those gifts are really mostly just coming in from parents. 25, 35% of cases we see a down payment gift coming in from parents. And there's some big reasons why, even though under Fannie, Freddie, FHA guidelines, we have other relatives who can be able to help with that down payment. They don't help because of all the friction involved in the system. Paper checks they got to come up with, they got to do a gift letter. There's rules about who can give, who can't give. And when you think about it, The buyer only learns about down payment gifting when it's pretty late in the home buying process. They are a current buyer by the time that they learn about down payment gifting. They're not a prospective buyer. Most people learn about how to do down payment gifting by sitting across the table from a loan officer, and the loan officer asks the very obvious question, where are you coming up with the down payment? And most of them say, we've been saving 3 to 4 years on average, according to the National Association of Realtors. And we're getting a little bit of help from mom and dad. And how do you do that? Well, here's a gift letter. Here's how you fill out a gift letter. Make sure they sign this. Get a paper check. Get a cashier's check. Get it in the bank. So that process happens very late in the process, and there's not very much time for them to go out and talk to all the other people who might be able to help. And that's where we said, hey, let's move this whole process online like we do everything else today, with no offline paperwork. And that allows all those people to be able to help much more easily. Grandparents and aunts and uncles and folks like that. And in fact, on Home Funded, anyone can give to the down payment. So this opens it up to friends and teammates and coworkers. And a big one, wedding guests. That is a red hot area for Home Funded right now. People can give for up to $5,000 per donor, no maximum amount on how much you can raise on the campaign. There's no commissions or hidden costs. If you tried to do this on Kickstarter, GoFundMe, or any of the other platforms out there, you'd have very large, commissions, and you'd have other costs associated with it. And it wouldn't work very well because it's not designed for a mortgage. There's no time limit on how long you can run a Home Funded campaign. You can start as early as you want. We have a lot of folks who are high school and college students that are putting away down payment dollars on this. And people starting that first job, no time limits. And it works with all loan programs except for HFA, state HFA and bond programs. So bottom line here, and this is kind of the elevator pitch, it's online down payment gifting from anyone. What we've done is we've changed two things. We've moved the process online, and we made it so that anyone can give. And this takes care of a lot of networks of family and friends who normally already try to help each other out in many ways. This allows you to tap into those networks of family and friends. It sets up very, very easily. They just go through a few simple setup screens, and presto, they've got a page on the web. They can communicate this page to their family and their friends. It's a web page, so it has a URL, just like any other web page. They can, as you can see here, they can customize it any way they want. You see graduations, you see friends, you see weddings, you see big families, you see couples, you see solo buyers, you see everything, basically. The campaign page structure is basically a photo that's customizable and a title, a nice little default story that they can customize themselves. You and the loan officer are both featured on the page. This is where people donate in the upper right. There's a second way to add funds to a campaign. It's called Up It. It's really cool. It's a shopping thing, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And in the bottom right, you can see where all the gifts are coming in. We match those gifts 2 to 1. Up to the lesser of $2,000 or 1% of purchase price towards closing costs. And that's applied as a lender credit at closing. So easy to get $2,000. It's a 2 to 1 match up to $2,000. And there's only 2 requirements. You have to be a first-time buyer to get that. You do not have to be a first-time buyer to use the platform. We do see a few move-up buyers using the platform from time to time. The second requirement is a big one. You have to do your home buyer ed before you get into a contract. So you make sure you get that done well ahead before you go out starting to shop for a home. And when you think about it, home buyer ed is definitely something you want to do before you go out shopping for a home. We have a free 1-hour over the phone option with GreenPath that we offer, or you can use any HUD approved online course, but you have to do it before you get into a contract. So that's the Home Funded $2,000 match. We stack a lot of these with Borrow Smart from Freddie Mac. If you've got a buyer who makes less than 100% of the area median income, and in California, that can be a lot, you should absolutely be talking to your loan officer about Borrow Smart, because it is a fantastic add-on to Home Funded for folks who aren't making up to 100%, who are making up to 100% of the area median. So there's like $3,500 there in some cases towards purchase. You couple that with Home Possible, which is what Borrow Smart uses, and that's a 3% down payment program. You've got up to $3,500 towards closing costs and down payment. You've got down payment gifting money coming in, and we're getting a lot of people over the hurdle. Huge overlap between these two programs. I mentioned a second way to add funds to a campaign. It's called Up It, and that's where you basically just click into the campaign page and you can shop at over 1,000 participating retailers that work with us. Each one of them rebates a certain percentage of what gets spent back to the down payment at closing as a pledge. Anybody can shop, so family, friends, the borrower, the loan officer, the real estate agent, basically shop to help somebody raise a little bit bigger down payment. It's really, really cool. All the stores that you know and love are in here. Home Depot is 8%.
Hey, Doug, one second. I don't want to get too far. All of these stores, if they go through the website, as they purchase things, obviously as the years go by, a piece of it, goes back into their account. They can keep building.
Yeah.
Look at the names on this. Those are pretty big names.
Can the people just set up the account, shop through there too?
Well, yeah, but then it goes to your clients. Yeah. Unless you have a home.
You know what I'm saying? Can they, like, if they open up an account and they shop in there and enforce that account?
Talking about the
as well?
client.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all your friends, family, right, Doug? If they go through this web portal and hit Petco, anything that they buy goes towards your campaign, right?
Yeah, and each one of the retailers is different. It ranges from 1% to 50%, depending on what it is. And sometimes even within the retailer will have different percentages, like Walmart offers this. Unfortunately, it's like zero on food. You don't get anything on food. And we don't control a lot of the amounts, and they do change from time to time. But suffice to say, if you go to these places and you do some shopping, there's a very good chance you're going to help somebody with the down payment. And there's a little thing that shows how much you're going to get. So it's pretty cool. One of the things that really makes it easier is that every time you shop, you get a $2 bonus on those pledges as well. Just like the gift money coming in, we match those pledges 2 to 1 towards that same $2,000 lender grant. So it's a second way to get to the 2,000. You can do a little gifting, you can do a little shopping. Each one of them helps you get to that extra $2,000. One other thing that makes the shopping easier is a Chrome extension. Chrome extension can get installed on your browser, and you can go directly to, let's say, homedepot.com, and it pops up just like this. And right over the top of it, it says 8% is going to this campaign. So you actually don't even need to go to the campaign page to get started. If you install the Chrome extension, it happens automatically when you go directly to any participating retailer. You don't have to find them. You just go do your normal shopping, and the thing will pop up all over the place. So it's pretty easy way to never forget to help somebody.
Hey, Doug, how can they set up their campaigns, the agents, like to get the message out to their clients in spirit?
I'm going to show that in just 2 seconds here, because that's one of the cool things about the program. You get money for sharing also, which is neat. Share your campaign on social, you get $10 towards that same $2,000 lender credit. We've seen some really large campaigns. There's no upper limit, so there's some giant ones out there. Typical sweet spot campaign looks like this. Good looking photo, good story, 5 to 15,000, 5 to 15 donors. That's really the cool thing about it. And really on these campaigns, what it does is it changes the game for you from having like 4 main players involved in the transaction to 4 main players plus all these donors. And all those donors go out and they talk to their family and their friends about how this cool program helped their friend buy a house, and loan officer and real estate agent. You get all kinds of referrals downstream. The more donors get in these campaigns, the more referral business we see on these, because those donors all go out and they have friends that want to do something like this too and need extra help with their down payment. It's a really, really powerful tool. So we tell people, start early, let your buyer come up with the right number of people for them. If you jam them at the end, they don't have time to talk to too many people. But if you give them plenty of time and you find these prospective buyers who are still dreaming of buying a home, trust me, they line up all kinds of people, because over time they have the ability to talk to people about this program. Wedding, absolutely huge opportunities. I just had 2 calls today with LOs who are doing wedding expos. A lot of stuff going on in that department. Next gen buyers, this allows you to tap into the dependents of people you've helped in the past. They've all got kids who are starting, so some fantastic opportunities to have conversations with the parents of these kids getting first jobs and coming out of college. You're looking at a picture of a young lady who was a junior at Clemson. She did her campaign. She put a QR code in her graduation announcement, and ended up in the house by November after graduating. So very powerful conversation starter with your older clients who have kids who are just getting going. They can set up campaigns anytime, and that family can help them get going on buying a house. Realtor portals. This is really how you get this out there to your customers. They're very easy to set up. They've got some fantastic marketing and nurture tools in there. And everything is linked right to the loan officer and so forth. So really, really great way to get going. It's got your branding in there. It's got your picture and contact info in there. It's got a green button where your buyer starts a campaign right from your portal. It's got video that explains how the program works. It's got a showcase so that all your campaigns are featured on your portal. And you can even do a match. I highly recommend this because it's a great way to incentivize your buyer to go out and find more donors, which ultimately means more referral business for you down the road. And you get some free publicity anytime somebody donates. So be sure to do a match, even if it's a small one. It's a dollar for dollar match, and you cap it at whatever amount that you like. There's some fantastic marketing tools built right into your portal, social graphics that you can download, videos, testimonial videos. And one of the cool thing about these testimonial videos that you can share is they've got your branding built right onto them by the portal. So you share these videos that are in your portal out on social media, and people are going to come right back to you because it goes with a contact form. So they're fantastic self-contained marketing tools built right into your portal. All you got to do is hit the share button, and out it goes onto the web. There's 7 of these videos in there, and you can share them any way you like on social, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, X, I guess it's now called, and LinkedIn. Fantastic way to get the word out on the program. And again, people come right back to you. Easy to get one of these portals. You want to write this down, realtor.homefundit.com, and it'll take you literally 5 minutes to set this up, realtor.homefundit.com. Once you get a portal going and you get some campaigns running, there's nurture emails that go out to your customer, keep them up to date on how things are going. Those are branded with your branding on them. And there's activity emails that come out anytime somebody shares or shops or donates. So there's always a lot of activity on these campaigns. So make sure you grab your free realtor portal at realtor.homefundit.com. Your picture and your logo is all you're going to need in 5 minutes of your time. Bottom line here is, today when you're reaching out with clients, the typical starting point is way down at the end of this long home buying journey. But with Home Fundit, and here's the real strategic advantage, you can start a Home Fundit campaign anytime. So all you have to get good at is finding people who don't own a home yet and who would like to buy a home. That's the best person and the best time to set up one of these campaigns. And they become your customer then. So you're speeding up the process because they're getting help from outside. You're able to lock in that buyer as early as you want to, and you've preempted your competition, and they cannot have that buyer now. So they're fantastic strategic tools for building your pipeline in a way that there's no other product out there that can do this. Everything else is focused on that typical starting point. We start them way ahead. The average duration on a Home Fundit campaign is now up to about 5 or 6 months. That's an average, and we see tons of campaigns closing all the time that are a year old. You can do them faster, but the strategic advantage now is moving towards these longer range campaigns, getting buyers in your pipeline today who are going to buy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the road. There's lots of them. So for you, it can speed up your client. It can help you lock in these buyers. For your client, it's a game changer because you open the door to a new way of getting some help with that down payment and really taking the friction out of that process. And that leads to new possibilities from your buyer. The elevator pitch, again, is we've got online down payment gifting from anyone. And that's a game changer for a lot of people. So make sure you set up your realtor portal, realtor.homefundit.com. Every first-time buyer conversation, and start really looking for those prospective buyers. That's the key, is changing your behavior from just focusing on people who are ready to buy a house to people who are dreaming of buying a house. There's tons of them out there. and they can become your customers today. So shout about it. Little things, updating the links to your portal on your signature block, sending out testimonial videos, and just getting in the habit of identifying prospective buyers versus current buyers. And you'll see your business change. We see it all the time. That's Home Funded, the program and the platform. Hope you found that interesting. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Friday. All right, well, get in here. Hang on, he's got a few questions.
Just a few questions. First, where is the money held? Second, how long do they have to use it? And third, what if they don't use it at all?
The money is held at Merchants Bank of Indiana, which is one of our loan investors. So it's FDIC insured funds. It does not earn interest because it sits there, it's cash fund, and they can use it any time. So it's available for them to pull the moment they're ready to buy a house. And if they don't use the funds, it's gifted. Those funds are gifted to them. So they can pull the funds and not buy a house. We don't see that very often at all. Voluntary exits are rare. Once people start funding a campaign from family and friends, they're really committed to all kinds of things on all kinds of levels. And family and friends are more likely to want to give you money if it's into a platform like Home Funded than hand you a check or a cashier's check, 6 months before you buy a house, and they're praying you're going to actually use that money for the house or all of it. With Home Funded, they're putting it into a platform, so your buyer is much more likely to raise funds from family and friends with this platform. And again, once they start, they're signaling they're super committed to the process already. We occasionally see people's offers get rejected or their loan gets turned down for whatever reasons. Those folks usually do not end up and wrap up their campaign. They keep going, dust themselves off, and get going again. We usually see those close ultimately. So they're fantastic tools for that type of thing. Once in a while, we will see people with a involuntary exit, like a healthcare issue or a job issue, which totally derails their home buying plans. More often than not, those people call us and say, can you send the money back to the people who gave it to us because we don't feel like we can take that money. And we do that for them too. We can send it back to the credit card or debit card. So it's very interesting. Once the funds come in, it's pretty much a lock.
Is there a penalty if the consumer decides not to purchase to pull the money?
No, the only thing is that they don't earn the lender credit, obviously, the $2,000 closing costs because there's no closing, and any funds from Up It, the shopping funds, those are a grant at closing as well. So you'd lose your rebate dollars, however much that was.
Now, who thinks this is good? Cool program. It's amazing, guys. I'm telling you. And right now, with the way the market's shifted, it is a phenomenal way for you guys to get in front of the clients. That screen that he showed about the timeline, guys, that's what I like about it best. If you think about it right here, you get to your college graduations, your family, your friends, your past clients, everybody that's interested in something like this, you pretty much own that client for the entire time. It doesn't matter whether he buys in a year or 6 years from now or whenever, because you're branded with them along the way. You're the one that's basically helping them. Even if they move out of state, you probably get a referral fee by giving it to somebody else. So it's great. Question.
That was my question, is because hi Doug, thank you for the presentation. That was very good. Question to ask with regards to the agent. So if an agent's name is registered on there and the buyer decides to purchase something, but they try to go through another agent, is that first agent notified, or how does that work so the agent knows?
It's getting quite a jerk of a client.
Yeah.
What happens if they switch realtors? I don't know.
If they, it's the buyer can always, buyer's always in control, right? They're the customer. We don't see that very often, where a buyer changes horses in the middle of the transaction. Once they usually start a home funded campaign, they're really committed to a lot of things. They're working with you for the most part. Again, they're always in control though. Their funds, their loan officers, or their realtors, that we can switch. Don't see that very often.
I think the question, Doug, is before they go into a transaction.
Yeah.
Is the agent notified?
Is the agent notified if
Like if they withdraw the funds, let's just say that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I mean, you're notified all the time on changes on the campaign. So, you know, you have weekly email updates that come out. And if there's any kind of structural change, you know, we would, you know, if they've requested a different realtor on the campaign, we usually, everybody knows.
The other things you guys, which we don't have the time for, but it is big picture thinking. And if you guys can get on the webinar with Doug on Friday, whenever you're available. But I think that the biggest game changer for you outside of all this and getting in front of a bunch of people, which is great, obviously that's phenomenal for all of us, right? Exposure is you can go to local businesses, corporations here, and for the purposes of employee retention, talk to HR, talk to personnel and say, hey guys, would ownership here be interested in helping their employees obtain homes? I can show you a great campaign and way to do it. By the way, corporations, there is no $5,000 limit. Any limit, there is no limit in corporations. They can donate whatever they want. So imagine a company like hypothetically SpaceX, right? If you're in Hawthorne, imagine if you can get in front of them, HR, and say, hey, you know, they might say, hey, anybody that buys a house, we'll donate $10,000 for so, and then they can start set up the campaign, get it out to the friends, co-workers, families. But imagine what that would do, and with the relationship you would have with a corporation, be it any corporation, it could be a small or mid-sized business in the area, or anybody you know that has a position of power within a company that maybe put you in front of the right person and say, hey, let's talk about this as a possibility. Yes.
So for more, or some of the long range funding campaigns, two questions. Is there interest earned if the money is still appropriated? No. And then the second question is the maximum limits per person, is that on a yearly basis or total for the life of the campaign?
So the maximum donation is 5,000 per person, and it could be over any period of time. So mom could give 5, dad can give 5, grandma can give 5, you know, and so on. And if you don't have to give it all at once, we just keep track, and when you hit 5, then you're done. But the campaign can be as big as you want. As you've seen, we've seen some that are up close to $50,000.
Awesome, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how many of you guys can take this out to your world, your sphere, and go bananas? You know, when I talk in front of a company that says, look, I could take somebody that just started, got his license last week, and if they just mastered this, know nothing else, they would have it. And they would get in front of a lot of people, especially if we can get them savvy enough to get in front of corporations. Yeah.
Piggybacking on Christine's question, 5,000 is the limit for this per person. However, if as a parent, we want to do a gift letter, an old-fashioned traditional gift letter, it can be a higher.
Because don't forget, I don't want to get complicated right now, but there's ways to pull this money out, get it seasoned into your account, or at least get it into, that's, we'll have another meeting another time for that.
Yeah.
But,
just to answer though, we do see that a lot. We see people give up to 5,000 on the platform, and then they give another 10 or 20,000 traditionally alongside. Doesn't stop you from doing that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that
USA?
Thank you so much.
You can use it in any state.
Yeah, everywhere.
I think that was a question for Marie. Yeah, so it also in Colorado. So thanks again, Doug.
You
Great
bet.
information.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
I think, well, that concludes our training. Thank you very much. And I definitely want to respect your time. I know we went a little over, but thank you. I'm assuming there's still probably a little bit of food.